Afternoon everyone, I hope you're well. It's Rachel here with a quick little video. As promised, what papers do you include in a journal? What do I include? This is my list. I don't usually work from a list, but I have it in my brain. So I've written a little list in here for you. So I'll leave it there for a minute so you can screenshot it if you want to. I don't know if you can read it. My writing's pretty bodgy. But anyway, what to include as journal pages. So digitals or decorative book pages, which I've written twice down here. Vintage or antique book pages. So just the ones with the type on them. Hinged pages with a twist. Plain writing pages. So things like vintage ledger, straw paper, craft paper, plain rag paper. The end papers, you know, the plain front pages in a book. I keep all of those things. Any of those things can be used. Decorative papers like wrapping paper, Florentine paper, wallpaper, if you have wallpaper and if it's not the cracky type. If it is the cracky type, you could just reinforce it where you fold it. Old ephemera like invoices, receipts, that sort of thing. Big envelopes. And I've got examples of everything, so I'm just reading through it so you can have time to take note. Art pages, botanical book pages, nature pages, anything that you like from a book or a magazine. And if you're so inclined, tea-dyed paper, eco-printed paper, whatever you like. So I like to have a variety of decorative papers, some book pages, some plain papers for writing, and then some original sort of pages, like decorative sort of pages, if I remember. I don't always remember. Occasionally I do put in antique documents as well. Okay, so just remember you can hinge anything. So if you have single book pages or single page of anything, you can hinge it and attach it to another page, and you can hinge it in two ways, or you can fold it over like we did over one edge and then glue that to another page, or you can take a strip, fold it and glue the two sides, the two pages to it. We did it the other day. Two days in a row we've done it. Okay, so let's have a look at those examples. So book pages. So I have these bigger book pages. Sometimes I put them in like that. I don't care if the writing goes sideways. Or I can hinge that like we did the other day. Actually, I better keep my list open so we go in order. And I won't do decorative book pages now because I've got that down below, lower. And then these types of book pages, quite often when I gut a book, I will try to sometimes keep the a couple of the original pages in the title. Sometimes they don't have them or they're damaged, and so I don't. And I'll try to pull them out by, you know, keep them together. So if they're attached really well, then I can just put them in the journal as a double page. If this one, quite often it's ripping because there's a lot of glue, I will hinge that to something. Okay, so that's book pages. Then I mentioned the the digitals. So I'll have a selection of digitals. I'll choose what I'm going to use and have my digitals, and I'll print them. These ones are not, but I will print them both sides. And so I'll have the decorative side and a plainer sort of side for writing, although you can easily write on here, especially with a pen like this. And so I'll have a selection of digitals, and as a rule I normally put about 5 digitals in per signature. Occasionally I will also add in a scanned letter or really decorative title page from the 1700s. I might put that in sideways as well, because I just like to have a mix. I don't like everything to be all patterned. It's the same with fabric. We love the floral fabrics and everything, but when I do my fabric packs, I always put in a few. I like the stripes, the damask, the checks, spots, whatever, because you need to break up the pattern, otherwise it's too much. So the digitals was number 1. Sorry guys. Okay, hinged pages. So the simple hinged pages, I'll include maybe one of those per signature. You can write it down if you. It's just my thoughts. Here I've got lots of the book pages that are still together. But the hinge pages, so just simple hinge pages where we've just, and I might, and you can, anything goes with the hinge pages. So you can use Florentine paper, you know, documents. You can use ephemera. It's good for ephemera. The single writing pages that, you know, couldn't come out all attached. These are those paper book covers. Yeah, so anything goes with the simple. These are what I call the simple hinge pages. This one had a strip on it. This one I folded over the document and attached it, and this is going to become a pocket, but I don't size them until I know what size my cover is. And then we had the hinge pages with a twist, which we just did. I don't know if I put them in here. Where did I put them? Did I put them in here? Yes, I did. So hinge pages with a twist. So it might be one with a page extension. I might include one in a journal. If I've got more signatures or a bigger spine, I might include two different types. But I don't go bonkers with those sorts of things. These ones I might include one per signature, or I might, the simple ones, or two per signature. Depends. You know, probably one, because otherwise you end up with too many pages. As a side note, what I do is I will periodically grab papers and fold them and put them in a pouch like this and just keep it near me. So in here at the moment, it was pretty empty before. I've got digital, I've got the hinge pages with a twist. I've got some folded straw paper. I have more, this is all hinge sort of stuff. And I've got folded digitals in here as well, ready to go. So I'll gather a whole lot of papers and keep them in a pouch or a box, depending how many, ready to go when I am preparing a journal. And these are book pages that I had. See, I pulled them out. They're ready to go. They are still attached. The smaller ones will go into a smaller journal, and the taller ones will go in a taller journal, and they are just all in there ready to go. And I highly recommend just gathering all of your bits, not everything, but like some bits, and keep them in the pouch. So let's keep moving. So we've done digitals, vintage or antique book pages, and you want to make sure, of course, that they're stronger papers, that, you know, you're not going to stitch them in the signature and they're going to come apart. If they were a little bit fragile, you know, you can reinforce it, or you put some washi tape and attach it to the next page. So hinged, all the types of hinging. The plain writing papers, let's go through those. So vintage ledger. So I have these here. They're just, this is not ledger, but it's some sort of thing. I can even pull it out if you've got the strings there, and you can pull it out whole. I could pull that out, size it to my journal. Like I could fold it up and make a pocket or a side tuck like that, and trim off the bottom. Or I could do them separately and fold them in half, or I could hinge them to something. Here's just another example. That's a bit more fragile, so I'd be more, that's got writing on it, so I'd be more careful. And here's some vintage Italian. Again, I can get that one out whole if I want to. These papers can sometimes be a little bit brittle, so they're kind of good to hinge rather than just fold. Then we have our forever famous straw paper, which is an Italian recycled paper that they actually use to absorb the oil when frying. And quite often in restaurants, they are there as placemats. And then we have craft paper. If you don't have straw, see, there's like, this is brown and this is like a mustard yellow, but I've got things of craft paper, two different, oh, it's the same brand, but one's in notepad form, and this one is, that's a notebook and notepad form. Another thing I like to keep is also when, like, this was from a, I actually don't have many pieces of that left, but that's from a calendar, and it was an art calendar. And then, you know, just from books, just keep these pages. They can be folded. In fact, I'm going to fold these now and put them in my pouch, because I don't have any of these in my pouch. So, yep, I'll just fold some of the all of the straw paper, although the straw paper I've been hinging sometimes because you need a bit of height, and then that way I can put them in, and they've, you know, I've got taller pages, and I don't have any of this in there. So I just, when it empties out, just fold them all and put them all in there, so you've got them, and you don't have to do, you know, you don't have to think about it. You just select what you want from your pouch or your box, wherever you're keeping it. So they're all going to go in my pouch. I didn't actually have any ledger in there either, so I might not do this one. I'll do the other one because it's stronger, because that one I will hinge. But I'll take some of this one. It's a nice big page, and I'll just tear it. And this one will go in folded sideways. And if it bothers you, you know, the whole sideways things, then you'll prepare it in such a way that you can put it straight up. But I actually quite like that. Okay, so they all go into my pouch, and I will draw from those when I am putting my journal together. And I find that is the easiest way. In fact, it was a bit sad. I don't need those because I've got them. Oh, this type of paper can go in. I would take that bit off, but and probably hinge it too. That's a good hingy one, but I think I'll just fold that one. And I don't think I have much of this one left, but it's a very nice duck egg blue, and I'll put that in there so I remember. Because, yeah, as I said, it's been a bit dismal in that pouch. And I've also I keep all my plain rag paper that's been damaged, so that could also go in. Yep, this one I might fold that way, and that can go in a journal, and I'll keep it in there just so I remember. Now, my next one was decorative papers. I don't actually have any wallpaper here. I don't use wallpaper often. I have a little bit, but I don't know where I put it. But yeah, wallpaper, I know lots of people have wallpaper. If it's not a cracky wallpaper, by all means. Florentine paper, these are a bit small, so I tend to hinge those ones. I don't have any big pieces at the moment. I rarely put in a big piece of Florentine paper because it's so precious to me. I usually put in like a smaller piece that I've hinged to something else, but Florentine paper is good. These are wrapping papers. These were gifted to me. They're the Pepin William Morris ones. They're great to use, and they're lovely. And then also these papers are great to use. I do quite often put those in. In fact, I probably resize some of these after the video and put them in my pouch, so I've got them ready to go. So just like wrapping papers, like you might have received a gift with a beautiful wrapping paper. I don't tend to like anything that's too glossy, but you could put a clear gesso over it if it's really glossy, to make it more matte. And then old ephemera. Now, as a side note, something like this, which is like the more onion skin paper, I probably wouldn't put that in as a page. I might put that in a pocket or use it in collaging. So this piece of ephemera is actually quite nice quality. You want to make sure it's not like the crappy type of paper. This sort of one, this one's actually 2 pages. So I keep those pages as well and put those in journals. So that one I'll just fold it, or I hinge them or fold them that way. So I'll put that one in. I've got a stash of those, but I don't know where I've actually put them. So yeah, so periodically refill your pouch, which I hadn't done for quite a while. Something like this I could put in as a page. I think that's actually really gorgeous, isn't it? So that's going to go in someone's journal. So I put that in, and sometimes I hinge them the other way. So yeah, I'll fold that one. It's nice and strong. That's another thin one. We wouldn't put that one. That one's perfectly fine. So put those in the pouch. And as I said, but you don't forget that you have these to hinge as well. So that's those. So ephemera of any type. Of course, if you have enough, because you might be precious. And then I have this beauty. This is a raggy piece of paper. Well, it feels like it's textural, 1918, and beautiful writing on it. So that one, I would actually probably rip that one in half and put it in that way and get 2. So that's something I'll do afterwards. So you just collect up all the things. You don't throw anything out because you've got multiple uses for things. And then big envelopes. Well, not always just big envelopes, because something like this is a regular envelope. You could actually, so I would probably fold it unevenly, and that could be stitched into a signature. I don't often do that, but you could stitch that into a signature if you want to. So a regular envelope, but these big envelopes, these are good for stitching into a signature. So what you do is make sure it's closed at on wherever the opening was. Fold it in half, or you can fold it however you like. You can fold it unevenly if you want to. Trim across there, and you've got 2 pockets, and that goes inside a signature. So you know what I mean, like you put it in between with all your pages. Let me just grab, because I don't, it's like one lady said she was confused with the hinging the other day, and I said to her, well, stay tuned because we're going to be putting them in journals and you'll see. So these are my pages. I'm making, I don't have any digitals pulled out, but making my selection of pages here, putting that in. Now where's my envelope gone? Putting in all my pages and stitching that one into the signature, and I get 2 pockets instantly like that. Okay, so envelopes, let's not forget the envelopes. And then what else? Art pages and botanical, nature, whatever you have. I love to include these. If I've got a narrower journal, I can fold it like that. Quite often, as you know, I'll fold it to the one side, will be to the width of my pages, and that side will be a bit shorter, and I'll just add something to it once it's stitched into the journal. So I love those. Got plenty of those. I'd even, probably not include these ones. I probably cut those pages up and make them into something. I don't throw them out, as you see. I'll cut those up and make them into something. But there's that, just art pages or botanical, and I have bigger botanical books. But these sorts of things, these ones, as you know, I hinged them the other day. If I had the bigger ones, I might also hinge those and have them going upright. Probably not going to fold them sideways. So that's those. And then the last one was tea dyed paper, which I don't, it's my tea dyed paper. I actually did, I think we did it with coffee, and it became out a bit too dark for me. I don't go too much to those dark colors. So I don't tend to use it as much in my journals. So I actually prefer my mix of new and old papers. I don't worry about whether it's new or old. I as you know, I like that eclectic look of it being new and old. I don't care. I won't use a bright white page, but I would. This paper is a recycled sort of paper. It's not a bright white. I would even be, if I wanted to, be inclined to pull something like that out and use that. And the one other thing I wanted to say is also, if you have these, this one's a bit brittle, so I tend to put it in the pockets. But if you have little old notebooks, like vintage papers from old notebooks, they're great as well, even with no writing on. Sometimes even better with no writing on. So anything's a go. So just get yourself like these papers, but these are fragile. As I said, I put those in the pockets. Yeah. So just make yourself a list like I did here, this list here. And if you can think of anything else, I've probably forgotten something. There'll be something else that I've forgotten. And then I put a selection. So 5 digitals. I'll probably have a hinged botanical, hinged with something else. I'll put maybe two double still connected book pages per signature. I might put a straw paper. I usually make sure there's a straw paper. If it's hinged, then that can be my straw paper. I'll put a selection. I usually put about between 7 and 9 different types of pages in folded pages in a signature, depending on how big my spine is, because it's going to bulk up when you start putting your pockets and tags and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my rule of thumb, how I do it. We're all different, so you just need to find a system that you like. I do find it, won't forget things if I do keep the papers in a pouch, just a collection of papers in the pouch. Then what I do, which I need to say, is all of these papers that I've just shown you, I keep them in boxes. So I have a box, I have a basket underneath of book pages, but I also have a box because I have a lot. And so the basket is really my working basket I pull out to do collage and whatever. And then I have a box of the plainer papers, and that will include also the first pages from books that I've kept. So I've got a box of that, and I'll keep those papers. I'll keep the craft paper, the ledger paper, all the plain papers with no writing on. They all get put into a box. And then these decorative, I actually just have them sitting on top of the box because I don't have that many of those. And then I have a whole lot of ephemera just in a folder on top of the box. They probably need to go into a box, but they're just sitting on top of the box. So I keep all my papers in groupings. Actually, in these groupings that you, except for the hinge things, they all go into the pouch. But all of the different types of papers are kept in groupings, whether they're sitting on top or they're in a box. So I'll probably keep my art book pages and these types of papers all near each other, because to me they have a similar function. They're decorative. Yeah. So I hope that, and my tea dye paper, that's all in a box. And envelopes, they're actually in the cupboard, and then I have like a little basket here hanging off my shelf that has a few in there as well, so I don't have to keep up and go and get them. So yeah, store your things in groups, so that way you, when you're looking for something, you just, oh, it's in that box and I can go and get it. You don't have to rifle through a whole lot of different things to find them. So I do highly recommend that as well. So I hope you found this video useful. We'll continue the other journals that we started the other day now on Thursday, because I do those Thursday and one day on the weekend. But I felt like this was an important video, because a lot of people do find what to put in the journals difficult, and you know, this is a start. You might think of other things as well to include. You could include digitals printed on vellum or tracing paper. I prefer tracing paper to vellum because it's not quite as thick. But yeah, I mean anything. You can do anything. You can put whatever you like in. So yeah, I hope that's helpful, and have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you again soon. Bye.